Why creating accessible Word and PDF documents is so important. In this video, you'll be provided with a demonstration of how someone who is blind accesses a Word document using a screen reader. Successful access to digital content by people with disabilities requires a combination of both the right assistive technology solutions as well as the accessible content itself. And throughout this video, I'll be demonstrating why digital content needs to be made accessible for people with disabilities. Keep in mind that accessible Word and PDF documents benefits everyone, not just people who are blind. In this video, we'll be covering headings, lists, hyperlinks, tables, color and contrast, alternative text, paragraphs and white space, and then at the end we'll navigate a PDF file that has been saved from a Word document. Headings. Headings allow a person to determine the overall outline of a document and to quickly navigate to specific information. There are two ways that a screen reader can access headings, and right now I'm using JAWS. It stands for Job Access with Speech. It's the most commonly used screen reader. Currently I have quick keys turned on with JAWS, and that allows me to very quickly access the headings by simply pressing the letter H.
Category 1 left bracket subheading and dash heading 3 right bracket.
And as you can see in here, it very quickly allows me to navigate all of the
Heading 1
headings.
lists. Heading 1 hyperlink page 3. Heading.
Now there's a second way, and a very common way, of accessing headings in a Word document, and that's by using the headings list box. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the quick keys off. And then I'm going to pull up the headings dialog
Heading
box.
list dialog. Headings list view. Chapter 1 and dash adding structure to the doc.
And what's very useful here is the different heading types. We have heading H1, H2, and that allows me to very quickly access the page via the headings alone and determine its hierarchical value. Now, one point I wanted to make here is you'll see that the headings are all black on this document. By default, a lot of the headings that are chosen, especially with Microsoft Word, come out as a blue, sometimes a darker blue, a lighter blue. So just be conscious of that, the color schemes, and what that may look like either on the screen or after the document is printed. Lists. When creating lists in Microsoft Word, it's important to use the tools available within the application. There's a few advantages to this. For example, when bullets are selected, JAWS will actually read it out as a bullet versus some sort of keyboard character. And it also avoids the need for using the space bar, which can create problems for screen reader users as well if there's additional spaces that they need to navigate. And another reason is it exports much more cleanly to other file formats. Now let's take a look at this list below here.
1. Item 1.
And it tells us it's 1, item 1.
2. Item 2.
Item 2.
3. Item 3.
Item 3. And you notice it reads it correctly, and it also places the cursor in the correct position as well. Tables. Correctly coded tables provide access to headers and allow for effective navigation within a table. So right now I have the quick keys enabled in this document, and I'm simply going to press the letter T for table.
Table 1, uniform table ID, row 1 of 4, column 1 of 4, page 3.
Okay, it gives us a lot of information. It said column 1 of 4, row 1 of 4. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the cell to the right of this.
Institution, column 2 of 4.
Okay, and it tells me institution, column 2 of 4. Now I'm going to go down to University 12.
University 12, row 2 of 4.
Now I'm going to navigate, and this is going to demonstrate why column headers are so important. I want to go to Research, and I want to know what category that is, or what the header is.
Category, Research.
So you'll notice that it said category first, and then Research. So it tells me exactly which column I'm in. And if I navigate again to the right, it should say Status and Active.
Status, Active.
So it tells me the exact name of the column header I'm in, as well as the contents of that cell. Without properly labeled column headers, this is like looking for a needle in a haystack for someone who's a screen reader user, since all they have is the content of the cell and it's not contextual with either the row or the column that they're in. Color and contrast. Keep in mind that a significant part of the population has color blindness, and for individuals who have low vision or who are glare sensitive, color and contrast is also extremely important. And this is a free tool that anybody can download. It runs on the Mac or Windows-based computer as well. It's called a color contrast analyzer. And what it does is it takes the foreground and background and analyzes it and compares it to the international guidelines called WCAG, Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. I'm going to demonstrate this now. So what I've done previously, I've chosen the color of this text here with the eyedropper. Now let's go ahead and select the blue here, and we can see that that fails. So that is considered a weak contrast. Now if I take the eyedropper and land it on the color black, for instance, you're going to see a large difference here. You can see how the contrast is so much more improved. So just something to be cognizant of as you're using various colors within a document to make sure that they have a sufficient color contrast to them and that you're not using color alone to convey meaning or context. Alternative text. Applying alternative text to pictures, or also known as graphics, is very important for a screen reader user, especially if it's conveying essential information or meaning of any kind. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate what it sounds like when a screen reader user is navigating pictures without any alternative text.
Page 2, picture.
All we have is picture.
Page 3, picture.
Again, just picture, and there's loads of information that's conveyed visually, but obviously not to a screen reader user.
Page 4, picture person using laptop and wearing headphones.
All right, so here is an example of an alternative text. It doesn't give us all the information on the page, but it gives us a synopsis of what's going on. Person using laptop with headphones.
Picture checklist.
Picture checklist, so that's all we need.
Picture flower and pot.
Picture flower in pot, that conveys the essential image itself. We don't need to know that there are 2 flowers in that pot.
Picture download.
Picture download. Alternative text is so extremely important, and to get it right sometimes can be more of an art than a science, because you don't want to overwhelm the person with too much information, but yet you want to get the essential information conveyed across, that the person can perform a task or have an understanding of what's actually visually displayed on a page. Paragraphs and white space. This is an important topic for everyone, whether a person's a screen reader user or just navigating visually. The reason why this is important is it exports much more cleanly to other file formats, but it also improves the overall navigation. And I'm going to give an example of that now. So we have the cursor on the word structure. What I did is intentionally put in a few hard returns here. So we have some blank space between the word structure and the next paragraph. Listen carefully as I go down arrow.
Blank. Blank. Heading level 2 introduction.
So a screen reader user will just simply hear blank blank as they navigate through a page, and the white space is created simply by pressing enter or creating a hard return. It is not only time consuming to do this, but it also is a little bit messy from a formatting standpoint as well. Now I can very easily use my control down arrow with JAWS and navigate very easily through the rest of these paragraphs.
Adding headings and subheadings. Documents that are designed new 1. Document structure and nav.
And in this case, the numbers are actually created as a separate
2,
paragraph
3, 4, 5, 6.
simply because the hard return was pressed.
Heading level 3 topic category 1. In Microsoft Word, using style.
But you can see in here how quickly and easily a person who is using a screen reader can navigate this if the paragraphs and white spacing are incorporated correctly. Hyperlinks. The most important aspect here to remember about hyperlinks is to make sure that they're contextual within a document. There's 2 issues with them not being contextual. First off, a person's not going to understand what it's referring to. And secondly, there could be a level of auditory fatigue that takes place with a random series of numbers and characters that a person really can't put in context. So I'm going to give a demonstration of this here.
Example.
And we have 2 hyperlinks that are actually pointing to the exact same location. I want you to listen carefully to the first one as I down arrow.
Link https://www.w3.org/y/fundamental/accessibility-intro/.
So a lot of information and not necessarily very contextual. Now let's listen to the second hyperlink, which is much more contextual.
Link W3C Web Accessibility Initiative Introduction to Web Accessibility.
So that makes a huge difference if it's contextual. A person can navigate to the link as I'm doing with the arrow keys or just the basic navigation keys, or a person can list these in the List Links dialog box.
Links list dialog. Links list view. W3C Web Accessibility Initiative Introduction to Web Accessibility 2 of 4. To move to items used.
And again, these two links are referring to the exact same location. They are just labeled differently. Navigating a PDF. Right now what we're looking at is the same document I had open earlier, except as a PDF file. So I saved it as PDF and incorporated all of the changes related to accessibility that we were working on with the previous document. So all of the accessibility components that we discussed in the previous document are all available now to us, and I can demonstrate this. Let's take a look at the headings.
Heading list dialog. Headings list view. Chapter 1 and dash added.
And as you can see, they've all imported correctly. All of the headings in the previous Word document are now available in the PDF.
Escape.
Another advantage to incorporating headings into the Word document is that when that's exported as a PDF, if we look at the bookmarks within the PDF, all those headings are correlated with the bookmarks, and that provides easy navigation for everybody. The links
list dialog. Links list view.
are all still available here.
Color contra escape.
And we can look at the graphics.
Person using laptop and wearing headphones. Graphic.
Person using laptop and wearing headphones. These have all been successfully exported from the Word document that also included alternative text.
Checklist graphic.
Checklist graphic.
Flower and pot graphic.
Flower pot.
Download graphic.
And download graphic. After the initial learning curve, creating accessible Word documents quickly becomes second nature and improves access for everyone.